Hello, well, YouTubers. I am the Weather Dude. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for tuning back into this weather presentation for March 17th, 2020. As always, please consider subscribing as well as watching the whole video. Now, to those of you that did not see this video, okay, I did just recently launch my new website. Okay, you can find a link because I wanted to share this with you guys in this video because I know that as of now that video only has barely 20 views. So but you can find it by basically going to any one of my couple of recent videos, or if you go into discussion, you can just click this link, and it'll take you to my website. Now, to those of you who may or may not have been on my website already, okay, if you have and you've explored all this, okay, updated some stuff, in a little bit, after this video is over, so basically, if it's 8:20 now, so basically in about 20-30 minutes or so, I will update this content so that it will now show content for tomorrow. So kind of just hopefully getting ahead and keeping the latest up-to-date content for you guys. But so those of you that may see my website already, I do have a new section that is called the Weather Dude Photography. Okay, so kind of taking pictures of things I see. Believe it or not, that is actually a weed. Yes, for some reason I have purple weeds growing in my yard, so that's pretty weird. But if you get the right kind of camera quality in the picture and you set the colors right, it is actually, that is its original form. That is actually how it looked. And the colors just happened, the colors of the weed were actually really nice. So that was a great picture there. Okay, cloud pictures and all other great stuff there as well. Well, if you visit my website, like after this video is over, once I update everything, I will be putting, there are actually cool pictures of geese that I got, so can't wait for you guys to see that. Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about Winter Storm Pearl, and yes, there's actually still winter weather going on, but this winter storm is going to be pretty significant for the north central United States, and that's why I wanted to talk about it today. Okay, so, oh yeah, forgot to mention, if you do go to my website, again, you go to the top right corner, you'll see a button that says log in. So just click that and you can sign up as a member, totally free, just showing your proud support. Just wanted to mention that because I forgot. Okay, so here is Winter Storm Pearl here. Okay, now as you can see, when it first develops, okay, there's not much at all. Like a little bit of, okay, gotta change it back to black now because that does not look good. See, I have dark mode on YouTube, so having the lime green helped before. Okay, so having the snow to the north and a little bit of mix here and some rain down here. This winter storm is not much of anything at all at first. But once the storm really gets going, okay, that low pressure deepens, okay, we get enough cold air set in place by the jet stream, and you're going to get a whole band of snow and ice. Minneapolis may even get a couple inches out of this, so Minneapolis, St. Paul. And then once the low makes its way east, this large band of snow is just going to form. Yeah, I do miss talking about this a lot. Okay, and this is like March 20th. This is Thursday night into Friday here. And the snow really gets a kick, and it kind of just fastly moves away through Iowa, and then it's all gone. Okay, so this is the GFS model. We're going to go through the Canadian and the European as well. Total snowfall here according to the GFS model. Okay, pretty significant. Okay, I'd say, especially for this time of year, and especially for what I've seen in March, I'd say it's nothing to, go crazy about. However, the totals in some localized areas can get pretty significant. For example, the Minnesota-Wisconsin border, northern Wisconsin could get 6-7 inches out of this. Same thing for western Minnesota here. Minneapolis, I'd say St. Paul, I'd say 3 inches. Maybe Minneapolis closer to 4 or 5 because Minneapolis is just farther west than St. Paul. But I'd say central Nebraska, that would be your 6 to 10 inch target zone. Okay, but overall, okay, we're talking about widespread, 2 to 4 inches. Because keep in mind, it's going to rain. And remember, this is just keeping in mind that the snow that is falling from the air, okay? Because a lot of these areas, or some of these areas, are going to have rain to start. Okay, so it might say 6 inches of snow. Let's say it was 6 inches of snow. But if you have rain before that, the snow in the ground may only be 3 or 4 inches because the rain is kind of keeps the ground moist and it keeps it warm and just doesn't allow the snow to stick that much. So even though the snowfall forecast may say 6 inches of snow, and yeah, true, that could fall out of the air, but if you had rain and mild temperatures before the snow came in, it's going to be hard for it to actually stick. Even though 6 inches is falling from the air, it may be hard for it to stick on the ground. But if it didn't start as rain, then you're going to be lucky. So here's a European model's depiction of it. Okay, we see a little, like a brief shot of snow moving through the Dakota, like North Dakota, Minnesota. That kicks on out of here pretty quickly. Okay, and you can see, like, look, a lot of these areas start off like temperatures mild, like well above 40 probably, and with some rain and some actually starting off with some heavier bands of rain, especially southern Iowa as well as Nebraska and yeah, northeastern portion of Nebraska and Illinois. It's going to start off as heavy rain, and that's going to make it even harder for the snow to stick. Okay, but the snow will be heavy enough that it will get a chance to stick pretty decently, regardless of the rain before it. Okay, and here it is. This is 2 p.m. on Thursday, and here's that area of sleet, that rain snow line, cutting right through southeastern South Dakota, north central Nebraska, not Alaska. Probably well east of North Platte. North Platte's probably in snow by this point. And by 8 o'clock, I say between, I want to say 5 and 7 p.m. That's when that rain snow line moves to Minneapolis. I'd say by 8 p.m., Minneapolis, St. Paul, probably in that snow, that area of heavier snow, probably a little bit of sleet. And then the snow is out of here, okay? By Friday morning, there's barely anything left. And then Friday afternoon, high pressure takes place. Everything is much, much quieter across the region, across the north central United States. Okay? And temperatures will be on the slightly cooler side, but probably eventually warming up. Okay, because I remember seeing in the forecast, Minneapolis is going to be like, I think it was like 19 when the snow is coming through. So, actually, let's actually get a check on, let's take a check on Minneapolis just to kind of show. Because, like I said, behind that blizzard, it's going to be, those temperatures are going to fall pretty good. So let's take a look at Minneapolis. Okay, and by the way, that coronavirus, yeah, that just reminded me, the coronavirus is getting really serious. Like where I am, like this, like statewide, the totals just doubled today. So just, wash your hands. Okay, I'm not an expert, but I can say wash your hands. Social distancing is probably the best way to go. We are approaching, if not almost at 200,000 cases globally. So you can see Minneapolis here. Look, here we dropped 44 on Thursday. We started as rain, changed to snow with a low of 18. And look at that, 29 is the high on Friday. And actually, for Minneapolis, that's probably not even that bad. I mean, yes, it's a lot colder than we've seen, but I mean, a high of 29 can happen in March over in the Northeast or the Mid-Atlantic. Okay, it's still cold, but I mean, it has snowed a lot over there in March, so close that now. All right, so the European model, here it is. European model, Minneapolis, St. Paul, European models calling for about 4 inches of snow. Some more significant snow they're putting on the map for places like southeastern Wyoming and northern Colorado there. Okay, and it's just 5, 6, 7 inches for north central Nebraska. Otherwise, at least according to the European model, a good widespread 3 to 5 inches of snow is going to be in place. Okay, and that little disturbance that came through North Dakota before the main storm hit, that could even produce a few inches of snow. I'd say 3 to 5 in this zone right here in central North Dakota near Bismarck. So that's pretty interesting what a little system like that can do. Okay, GDPS model. Okay, and the GDPS, the Canadian model, doesn't really seem to be putting that much rain there, like in this area to start. It's not really starting as that much rain. However, the rain will eventually come in here as we head through Thursday afternoon. Temperature is going to go in the 40s and 50s across the region, and then boom. But notice, like the other two models, like GFS and the European, it wasn't one nice band of snow. I mean, actually, it's a lot of sleet, especially in southeastern South Dakota, southwestern Minnesota, northeastern Nebraska, and it eventually turns over to snow and some heavy snow. We still got a little area of sleet right there. Okay, not the dark pink, because that's really heavy snow, but the light pink and the purplish right here, that's kind of your sleet. But overall, you'll be lucky enough that we'll get a nice big band of snow, and who knows, it could even end still as rain for eastern Iowa. I mean, you really can't get any snow over there. And then it's eventually going to be all gone. Like by Friday, it's going to be gone. So Thursday night, it might be snowing in Minneapolis, and Friday, by the time we wake up, everything should be wrapped up and over with. All right. Snowfall totals are actually putting a lot more. Even though they had more sleet than they did snow, they're putting a lot more snowfall on the map. Now, keep in mind the Canadian model can be kind of bullish, especially in its northern territory, because sometimes the Canadian models can only, focus on northern parts. And that's where they kind of, go a little bit bullish with the amounts. But still, southeastern Wyoming, I definitely agree with that. We can certainly possibly get up through, up to 12 inches, certainly possible. But northern Nebraska getting 16 to 18 inches, I don't see that happening. And this will be a potential blizzard. Okay, so 6 to 10 in this area is certainly possible. Okay, blizzard doesn't have to produce a lot of snow. There could be a blizzard that produces no snow. It's called a ground blizzard, basically. Ground blizzard has the same criteria as a blizzard, except that no snow is falling and that the snow on the ground it's just blowing around. Winds are 35 miles an hour, quarter-mile visibility or less, all for 3 hours or more. That's all the same criteria as a normal blizzard, but a ground blizzard is another kind of blizzard that doesn't involve any falling snow, but this will be a blizzard that has falling snow. But, I used to think that when I was little, but a blizzard doesn't have to produce a lot of snow. Okay. GFS model here. Okay, this is like the jet stream patterns, and I want you to notice, okay, you got your northern jet stream here. Oops, so you got your northern jet stream up there, and then you got your subtropical jet stream or your southern branch of your jet stream here. And right where conditions are going to set up almost just right in this area right here, where those two jet streams right here, polar and the subtropical, are going to kind of take their merge. Actually, the subtropical kind of goes more something like that. Okay, so they kind of converge in this region. Is perfect. It lines right up. Okay, and maybe I should redraw the polar jet. But the polar jet is going something like that. Subtropical like that. They converge here. That is where you're going to get your blizzard conditions because, and it goes to the northeast. We got, winds of almost 200 miles per hour. Way up in the atmosphere. We're talking like tens of thousands of feet in the atmosphere. Probably almost higher than airplanes fly. But still, okay, really strong jet stream winds are going to be the cause. These two kinds of ingredients combined together, creating that blizzard conditions possibly. Okay, so again, here, Canadian model, the European model says the same thing. Okay, here's your subtropical, there's your polar jet stream, and that's where they meet, right in that zone. That's that nice band of snow. We got the cold air being provided, that polar air mass, and they got that tropical air mass, and they kind of collide in such as a way like this. So you got your polar coming down like this. I draw very bad arrows. So the polar comes down like this, but then the tropical comes up like this in such a way that it bends. Okay, so we have like an actual band of snow that develops like that. Okay, so something like this. We get a band of snow that just develops, like even after the rain initially starts, and eventually the band makes its way this way, but it won't get very far. Okay, I kind of enlarged it so you could see it, but the band won't get very far. Once it moves through Nebraska, Minnesota, and Iowa, it's going to pretty much dissipate and basically a clutter of snow showers at best for the Great Lakes. So here's the Canadian now. And again, all the models are kind of in agreement here. You got your flow coming from the south here, your subtropical and your polar right here. And the subtropical is feeding energy into the polar, so the polar is getting an extra kick. That's why you're going to see some strong winds up there, potentially in the northeast, way up in the atmosphere. All right, now here is basically the cyclonic vorticities. You're going to see me using this map a lot more as we head into hurricane season. Okay, tracking storm. Like if it was hurricane season, I'd be watching that right there. Okay, this is kind of saying like the cyclonic strength, but you can use this for not necessarily just it's not always has to be for hurricanes. It can be for tracking storms like this. All right, so here, okay, so let's see. So that severe weather threat in the south, that's going to rise through the southeast, the Ohio Valley. That piece of energy moves out. Okay, and eventually, what you're going to start to see take shape on cyclonic vorticities, it's kind of a signature. So we got a little swirl right here, maybe a little swirl right here, and it kind of forms a band right there. You'll be able to see it as there we go. And we have really strong cyclonic vorticity values right there in central Kansas. Okay, so the winds are going to be this isn't necessarily the wind, but the power of that band is very strong, and we even have some cyclonic vorticity signatures showing up near Nantucket off the coast of Cape Cod. Okay, but like I said, look how quick this band loses its energy. We see, we're talking about dark purples and turquoises indicating a really strong vorticity signature, and you literally go 6 hours later, boom, you don't see any dark purples or blues anymore. It's all gone. It's just a bunch of orange and red. So this won't last very long. Okay, it's gonna kind of weaken. The only thing that will keep that band strong a little bit is that upper level low sitting up there that'll keep this band formed kind of, but it won't even be like a heavy snow band. It'll just be rain by then. Okay, here is another model. Here's the European. That was GFS. So again, there's that little piece I showed you from Cape Cod. Okay, there's a little coastal low, but it really didn't do anything. And we got a little piece rising from the southeast. That's from the severe weather threat we have today and tomorrow. There's south central. It all lines up, and there it is. Okay, we got, and oops, did not want to click on that. And it kind of actually forms an arc like this. So you got almost like a front. Okay, so and again, look at where the highest cyclonic vorticity signature, the values, that's the highest values are in Kansas, central Kansas, even parts of Nebraska. Okay, but like I said, I mean, this is 6 hours later again, and not losing its oomph as quickly as the GFS had it, because we still got some strong stuff, strong signatures in the Northeast. It's still holding together pretty well. At least has some energy, some drive, some wind. Okay, but like I said, the only thing keeping that thing in power is that upper level low that'll feed some more energy into it. Other than that, it's going to deteriorate pretty quickly once it moves through Nebraska, Kansas, South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa. Once it moves through there, it's pretty much over. Okay, Canadian model. Again, your Nantucket system right there. Okay, and there's your piece of energy from Texas. Just want to show you guys everything. Everything lines up in order. And boom. And that's why the Canadian model had really, I shouldn't say that again, should really raise the snowfall totals, because they have a lot stronger of a vorticity signature, a lot more energy getting thrown in with that precipitation, and you can see 6 hours later, as it goes 6 hours from now, it doesn't really lose its energy at all. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it got a little bit stronger, but probably staying the same. And then eventually, once it hits the Great Lakes, the only power source is no longer really the jet stream, but rather its upper level low. Okay, because the jet stream is not really giving it its power at this point. It's kind of going on its own. And then its scattered energy, whatever's left of it, moves into the Northeast. We get some rain, and that's about it with that. We do have winter storm warnings and blizzard warnings through North Platte, Panhandle, Nebraska. We do have winter storm watches for south central South Dakota, as well as northeastern Colorado, even blizzard warnings for southeastern Wyoming. That will be where the highest snowfall totals are, as well as the highest wind potential. Okay, so there it is again from the Weather Channel. So again, the band at first is going to have some sleet along with it, okay, because, I mean, let's face it, it's late March. I mean, you can still have snow, you can still have a lot of it, but based on what you see in the season, I mean, it's just, I mean, it's hard to find a spot where we had a good winter. I mean, I know some isolated parts of the Northeast actually had a good winter, and some parts of the Rockies did. Okay, but this will help put a dent in that deficit that we had of snowfall. But the totals, according to the IBM Business Weather Channel, kind of like what the GFS was saying. Okay, northern Nebraska, Panhandle, Nebraska, as well as southeastern Wyoming. Now, of course, the mountains are going to be higher, but we exclude the mountains when we're talking about this specifically. In terms of low-lying areas, that's where a lot of people live, northern Nebraska, as well as southeastern Wyoming, Cheyenne to North Platte, that's where you're going to have those highest snowfall totals. Sioux Falls still could have 3 to 5 inches. Marquette could also have 5 to 8, okay, maybe because of the lake enhancement, but the band will be weakening by the time it heads up there. Okay, as our last map here was windy.com to kind of show you all the wind in terms of, because like I said, this could possibly be a blizzard, so we're going to analyze all the blizzard aspects real quick right now. Okay, so this is a sustained wind. This is the wind that's going to be flowing all the time, but I will be showing you the wind gusts as well to see, like, you know, how high the wind could possibly get. All right, so here's Thursday. Okay, Thursday afternoon. Okay, we're kind of starting to see that, you know, that rain starting to form. Then it kind of changes over, and you can see, obviously, where the band kind of is. Okay, so if we go to the rain thunder here, let's go to rain thunder. Okay, here's where you have your really intense snowfall. This is by 4 p.m. Thursday. Okay, and this kind of goes under a little bit, but over 3 inches of snow in 3 hours. So those snowfall rates will be over an inch an hour, probably even a couple inches of snow per hour, possibly. But the snow looks to be mixing with a little bit of rain, but there's your snow band right there. And in terms of the rainfall, look how heavy the rainfall is going to be. You can see nearly 3/4 of an inch of rain in a couple hours in just southwest of Chicago. So that could be an issue there. But in terms of the wind aspect and the wind gusts, okay, definitely supporting blizzard conditions. Let me actually flip this over to miles per hour real quick so it's easier. 53 miles an hour wind gust. I mean, you really only need 35 miles an hour, but it has to be consistent. The sustained wind doesn't necessarily have to be 35, but it has to be it can't be one wind gust to 35 miles an hour and we have a blizzard. Okay, it has to stay 35 mile an hour winds for 3 hours straight. So sure, that could be in the form of wind gust, but we're not talking about one gust of wind to 53 miles an hour. We're talking about potentially really consistent wind of 53 miles an hour. Okay, and notice where I drew that black line. Okay, like I said, here, like I showed you in the jet stream map, there's your polar energy and there's your subtropical energy, or tropical energy. So the tropical energy comes in a sense where it kind of arcs in like this, as you can see how it flows around like that, and the polar comes in like this, so it kind of takes the band and kind of bends it back. Okay, so that way you can get its structure like this and then move through towards the east and southeast. So look at the winds here this band is going to produce, and okay, so here's the band right here. It's not as obvious to see it because it's kind of losing its oomph. Okay, but look at western Kansas towards the back side of it. 60 mile an hour wind gust, okay? Down trees, down power lines, certainly going to be a possibility, if not a likelihood, as well as power outages. Okay, GFS not putting that much on the wind either, okay? I mean, not either, but it's not really putting that much oomph on the wind. Okay, we could still see 50 mile an hour wind gust through the Texas Panhandle and Oklahoma Panhandle. So this is a blizzard, okay? And you, like I said, you need to take this seriously. You can kind of see there's your little low pressure system kind of dragging back that wind like this. That's how you form your band right there, your heavy snow band. Totals, highest totals, again, northern Nebraska, southeastern Wyoming, where we could see possibly upwards of 10, 12 inches of snow. But this will be a particularly quick hitter because it is a band and not like a whole mass of snow like we had with some, coastal storms and nor'easters. So, but still, nothing to take with a grain of salt. So thank you for watching this video. Again, many places you can find a link to my website, or you can just type in theweatherdudepro.wixsite.com/theweatherdude, and my website will appear there. Okay, or there's many places you can find my link. You can find it here, you can find it here, or it will be in the description of this video as well. But if you want to get like a little tour of my website, I would suggest, you can't really see it, but I would suggest that you do watch my new video, or the video before this one, where I talk about the launch of my website, like a little tour of what's on it, and how I will be constantly updating it, so consider checking it out, and hopefully repeatedly checking it out. Thank you guys for watching. I'm the Weather Dude, signing off. Till next time. Thank you for watching.